Next, we're tracking rain and storms on the radar tonight. And why would one of the world's biggest oil companies try to stop investigative reporter Chuck Gowdy from taking pictures of their plant?
This is ABC 7 News at 10, Chicago's #1 news.
Storms are popping on the radar tonight just west of the Chicago area, and they could be headed our way overnight on this, the eve of Lollapalooza. The giant outdoor music festival draws hundreds of thousands of people to Grant Park.
Meteorologist Jerry Taft tracking the storms tonight. Jerry?
Well, we certainly are. Most of the storms are certainly well out to the west. We have no immediate rain threat. The closest to shower and storm is in the Platteville area, but some of the heaviest storms are back to the west of that, around Omaha, moving just south of Des Moines. You can see some heavy storms there. But, of course, the big question for all the kids going out to Lollapalooza is, what about the rain? Notice that by 6 a.m., by 3 a.m., we have maybe an isolated shower, but watch what happens around 6 o'clock in the morning. We do have a few showers and storms kind of pushing their way through. By about 10:15, most of the rain is out of here, and then we could see an isolated shower during the afternoon. So most of the rain will be out of here before Lollapalooza starts tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Jerry. We're following late developments as another domino on the Metro board falls. This time, Chairman Brad O'Halloran resigns. He's the third member to quit as pressure builds for everyone on the board to step down. ABC 7's Stacey Baca live with reaction tonight. Stacey?
Ron, Brad O'Halloran's resignation is effective immediately. All is quiet tonight at his home here in Orland Park. But in that resignation letter, he writes, "I have made every decision with the best interests of Metra in mind." Metra Chairman Brad O'Halloran calls it quits.
I will ask the governor tomorrow, if the other 8 do not tender their resignation, to have them all removed.
Metra's vice chairman tells me tonight that it takes 8 of 11 votes to replace the CEO and also the chairman. There are only 8 members at this point, so that decision would have to be unanimous. It is possible they will address this on the August 16th meeting coming up. Reporting live in Orland Park, I'm Stacey Baca, ABC 7 News. Kathy?
Okay, Stacey, thank you.
Even though medical marijuana is now legal in Illinois, it won't be available until sometime in the second half of next year. Proponents of legalization cheered as Governor Pat Quinn signed the bill. It allows doctors to prescribe 2.5 ounces of marijuana every 14 days to people they believe would benefit. The patient must be 18 and suffering from one of 40 specific illnesses and would have to undergo a criminal background check. The marijuana will be produced at one of 22 state-supervised warehouses and will be sold at 60 dispensaries around the state. Patients say it works.
It's going to give me a quality of life that I have never had before.
I have concerns about potential contaminants. I have concerns about lack of regulation of the actual dosage that somebody is going to be receiving.
Illinois becomes the 20th state in the nation to legalize medical marijuana.
There's a community alert tonight for residents in some Northside neighborhoods following a string of armed robberies. There have been 6 reported at the locations on this map in the Lakeview neighborhood and other nearby areas. All of them took place between July 21st and last Sunday. Police say that in each robbery, 2 men approached the victims and took wallets, money, and cell phones at gunpoint. The robberies happened late in the evening and overnight hours.
New for us at 10 tonight, strategies for student athletes to stay safe on the field this football season and the new law to help players who suffer catastrophic injuries. ABC 7's John Garcia brings us the story live from Soldier Field tonight. John?
Ron, there were about 200 young players on the field at Soldier Field tonight. Their parents in the stands. They were learning good football techniques, but also techniques which their coaches hope will help them avoid injury.
Injuries like fast in the league.
Rocky Clark had catastrophic injury insurance. It covered up to $5 million, and still it ran out about 1.5 years before his death. The bill Governor Quinn plans to sign on Sunday would be a maximum of $3 million of insurance for all players. Supporters say that's a good first step, but they'd like to increase it. Live at Soldier Field, John Garcia, ABC 7 News. Kathy, back to you.
Okay, John, thank you. Chicago Public School representatives got an earful from angry parents tonight at a public hearing about next year's budget.
Parents need to come together and say no. This is robbery. Do not let them steal your baby's education. A lot more money.
The budget makes $68 million in classroom cuts, including teacher layoffs. Taxes will go up and reserves will be tapped to make up for a huge deficit. CPS says that most of that is caused by higher pension costs. One of 3 women held captive for years confronts her abductor in court as he insists he's the real victim.
Also, the accidental release of a potentially dangerous chemical went unnoticed for 9 hours. Just one of the problems uncovered by the I-Team. Chuck Gowdy investigates.
And the new mall with stores so hot, shoppers waited in line for more than an hour.
And once again, a very pleasant evening out there right now, but there is some rain out to the west, headed this way for tomorrow morning. I'll have all the details.
I'm Jose Sanders.
And I'm Judy Sue. Tomorrow morning, Phil says keep the umbrella handy. There's a chance of more storms.
Lollapalooza's back, and there's a health warning for people going to the big music festival.
With weather and traffic on the 7s tomorrow at 4:30 a.m.
ABC 7 News at 10 continues with Ron Majors, Kathy Brock, Cheryl Burton, weather with meteorologist Jerry Taft, and sports with Mark Giangreco.
Cleveland kidnapper Ariel Castro will be sent to an Ohio prison where he'll be kept in isolation for his own protection. In court today, before he was sentenced, Castro blamed his victims and his upbringing for what happened in that house of horrors, but he was confronted by one of those victims.
There could be serious fallout from Moscow's decision to grant temporary asylum to fugitive NSA leaker Edward Snowden. The White House is suggesting that a planned summit between President Obama and Russian President Vladimir Putin may not take place. Snowden today was given papers from the Russian government that allow him to leave the Moscow airport after spending 38 days in hiding there. He has been granted political asylum for 1 year.
Why would one of the world's biggest oil companies try to stop investigative reporter Chuck Gowdy from taking pictures of their plant? The answer in tonight's I-Team report coming up.
Also, Jerry's back with the latest on the storms that may pop overnight.
And the mess that rain could cause at Lollapalooza just as that music festival gets underway.
Tonight, the I-Team's uncovering a history of incidents at a major southwest suburban oil refinery, some leading to legal action.
ABC 7 investigative reporter Chuck Gowdy here with what the I-Team discovered in the facility's safety records. Chuck?
Ron, Kathy, after a recent release of potentially dangerous chemical into the atmosphere, tonight the I-Team has learned that state officials are trying to crack down on ExxonMobil's refinery near Joliet. But there's a larger cloud of doubt we've uncovered, and some local residents say they are questioning their family's safety.
Horrible. Babies, you know, your animals. I mean, that's just, and then they don't know about it.
It's the unknown that has Allison Stepanovich worried tonight. She lives 4 miles from this ExxonMobil refinery, or in the case of what happened this past October, within raining distance. That's when an oily mist from the plant fell onto surrounding towns and neighborhoods without warning, even shutting down I-55. Now Stepanovich says she's worried about a chemical release from the plant this spring that went undetected for 9 hours.
It's, you know, scary because you don't know what that could lead to. Should you live around here? Should you move? If they're not going to be aware of those things, they need to get it under control to make sure that this doesn't happen.
The most recent incident at the plant is leading to legal action. The state attorney general and Will County prosecutors filed this lawsuit charging air pollution violations by ExxonMobil. According to emergency reports, the company filed with the state a valve failure that went undetected for 9 hours in March led to an airborne release of more than 4,000 pounds of the potentially dangerous chemical hydrogen sulfide.
It can be very dangerous. Given that there have been high-level releases, if I lived in that community, I'd want to know what community level exposure has been.
And tonight, the I-Team's inspection of U.S. Environmental Protection Agency records reveals additional potential threats to public health and safety. First, according to the U.S. EPA, ExxonMobil allegedly violated 3 different environmental laws at Channahon from 2008 through 2011, including improper handling of hazardous waste and failing to provide immediate public notice of releases to the environment. Second, the facility has filed 64 hazardous materials incident reports since 2010 for releasing potentially dangerous chemicals in excess of legal limits. And finally, in this federal filing last week, ExxonMobil said its Channahon plant reached daily levels of hydrogen sulfide release in 2012 that were so high that they had to notify the EPA. And ExxonMobil's statement says the emissions are consistent with industry standards. ExxonMobil wouldn't provide an on-camera response for this report, and their security guards tried to stop us from shooting video of the plant from the public street.
Can't take pictures of this. It's private property.
We can take pictures of this.
Says who?
The U.S. Constitution.
In a statement, the company says it is committed to environmental performance excellence, and their goal is to have no environmental incidents.
What's most surprising is how something like this, a leak like this, can go for 9 hours before being detected. This is frightening.
Southwest suburban environmental activists say this incident is just their latest concern with facilities throughout the Chicago area.
This is an all-encompassing problem. It's not just a localized problem because air doesn't have a boundary.
As for that October oil storm, an ExxonMobil spokeswoman tells us the company responded quickly to the incident and regrets any inconvenience to their neighbors. ExxonMobil reports their facility has been recently inspected by Illinois and U.S. EPA with no violations noted, that they comply with all permits, rules, and regulations.
All right. Thanks, Chuck.
Thanks. Crews tonight are putting the finishing touches on stages for Lollapalooza, the 3-day musical fest starting in Grant Park, and everyone is hoping to avoid a muddy first day. This video from 2011, after it poured on the final day of Lolla, the rain combined with the people turned Grant Park then into mud. 100,000 people are expected to attend each day. Okay, we don't want to see that this weekend.
Unfortunately, tomorrow morning we will see some showers around. That could happen. The good news is Saturday and Sunday will be dry. So hopefully whatever we get, it'll all dry out. Everybody will have a great time. We had a great day out there today with temperatures right up around 80. Officially out at O'Hare, 81. You can see warmer, more unstable air back in western Iowa, parts of Nebraska, some heavy showers and thunderstorms back there. We've been showing you these, and you can see these showers and storms do have severe thunderstorm warnings associated. These are just to the south of Omaha. If we take a look at the Des Moines radar, just a couple of isolated showers you can see just to the east of Dubuque and then across portions of Wisconsin. Nothing close to Chicago. We do have a few showers and storms. So nothing happening here right now, but if we look at the wider view, we do expect to see this system kind of move in our direction by early tomorrow morning. We will see a couple of showers. You can see some of those storms moving through. Everything kind of out of here by about 10. But then during the afternoon, we could see an isolated shower. And then during the late afternoon, some storms to the south. So there's going to be storms all around. It's just a matter of exactly where they will hit. But we do expect to see some downtown in the morning. Our high today, 81, 2 degrees below normal. Last year's high, 90. The record high, 100. Right now, it's 69. Feels beautiful out there. The air's nice and dry. The winds are light. Temperatures across the area a little bit warmer at the lake. 72 Midway, 69 O'Hare. Low to mid 60s in the outlying areas. We're going to drop down near 60 in some of the outlying areas and then see temperatures get up once again near 80 tomorrow. Few scattered showers out to the west, showers and thunderstorms up and down the east coast throughout the day. Of course, here you can see the heavy storms just back out to the west of us. And again, these storms are between unseasonably cool air to the north and hot air to the south. We fall right in the middle on our AccuWeather graphic. High temperature tomorrow at 80 degrees. And again, you can see all the heat down to the south. About half the country is certainly embroiled in a hot summer-like pattern. Tonight, partly cloudy. Showers and thunderstorms late tonight, actually toward tomorrow morning, low 60s. And then for tomorrow, mostly cloudy. Showers and thunderstorms mainly in the morning. High temperature up near 80. Dries out for the weekend, clearing on Saturday with a high of 80. Beautiful day on Sunday with a high of 78. Also 78 on Monday. Couple of showers or storms expected Tuesday, Wednesday. Temperatures over the next 7 days slightly below normal with no heat wave on the way.
All right, Jerry. Their widespread popularity may have peaked in the 70s, but they're still going strong.
Steely Dan on stage at Ravinia tonight. Coming up.
And I'm Mark Giangreco. Coming up in sports, more from Bears Camp down in Bourbonnais featuring referees and injuries. Stay with us.
Time and Temp brought to you by Advocate Children's Hospital, where kids and parents feel better. Sports Sports on ABC7 brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today.
Bears facing some early challenges.
Yeah, it's like Wild Kingdom with helmets down there today. You know, it's getting harder and harder to keep the game plan intact as Bears camp today was just overrun with zebras and more injury bugs. Rafer explains.
The Bears got the official word today as NFL refs stopped by, and Brandon Marshall was happy to see them.
It was awesome, man. Me and Peanut got into it the other day because he was holding. You know, we're tired of that. So for the refs to be out here holding them accountable felt good. I guess that's why you saw some big plays.
And he expects more big plays with a maturing Alshon Jeffrey and Martellus Bennett energizing the offense.
It's just going to open up the seams a lot more. You know, they're going to have to play fair. You know, I've been seeing a lot of double and triple coverage, seeing these guys get open, and Coach Trustman getting the other guys involved in the ball. You know, it says a lot, and I'm excited to see it because, you know, when you have a happy segment room, you know, the offense just runs smoother.
Speaking of energized, Julius Peppers says he feels 8 years younger.
I feel like I'm 25. You know, age is just a number that people put on players. I mean, it's real, but it's really in your heart and your mind how you feel. When you reach 30, that's that number that everybody wants to put on you and say you're getting old. But like I said, these guys come out and work hard. I think we got the right mix of older guys and younger guys. So I don't think it's a problem as far as age on this team.
It's tough not to judge the Bears' lack of depth, especially on defense. With DJ Williams out, rookie Jonathan Bostic was back in the middle, and Corey Wooten left practice today with a hip injury, but it's not considered serious. In Bourbonnais, Rafer Weigel, ABC 7 News.
Okay, Rafe, back here, it was NIU Media Day over at Ditka's where the Huskies were hyping their quarterback for the Heisman with the Jordan Lynch lunch sack. You know, going with the whole blue-collar, brown bagging it thing.
Yeah, it's a pretty, funny deal. The whole Heisman campaign, like I said earlier, it's good for Northern Illinois and the Mid-American Conference. You know, it gets our name out there and kind of exposes us to the nation.
Yes, it does. Now, while the Huskies aren't ranked this year, today's preseason coaches poll does have Northwestern at 22, Notre Dame at 11, and, of course, Bama, number 1. Cubs and Dodgers tonight, Super Mario and his brother Honest Luigi at the game. Rizzo and Lake each had 2 homers, but in the 9th, phenom Yasiel Puig with an insurance dinger here, and the Cubs wind up losing at 6-4. Earlier today, the Sox were swept out of Cleveland during this guy's lunch break. 3rd inning, Ryan Rayburn, a windblown 2-run homer off Chris Sale. He had 4 RBI. Sox lose 6-1, dropping 8 straight to the Tribe this year. Finally, staying with baseball, the Cardinals at last beat the Pirates tonight. Must have been the pregame handshake. Ooh, the strongman's handshake. Matt Holliday and Adam Wainwright doing the synchronized power pose. We're here to pump you up with the pre-rehearsed secret sign of camaraderie. Grown men making millions, killing time in the dugout.
Having fun.
Baseball.
How long do you think they rehearsed that?
Hours. Hours and hours. Shag some balls, rehearse.
Amazing.
Just ahead, tonight's flashback for Steely Dan fans.
The first of 2 shows at Ravinia. They've been combining rock, jazz, and other musical influences for decades now. Tonight, Steely Dan performed at Ravinia. By the way, for those of you keeping score at home, since the 70s, they've sold 40 million albums. They've also been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And Steely Dan will play Ravinia again tomorrow night.
Perfect night for that. That's it for us tonight. Thanks for joining us. Remember, you can find us 24/7 at abc7chicago.com.
Jimmy Kimmel next with an interesting combination. Selena Gomez and Ben Stein. Have a good night.